You said we were just drifting, like it happens all the time. Like love just loses color, like it's nobody's fault, just life. But I replay every moment, trying to find where I went wrong, searching through our memories for the place I don't belong. Was I too much, not enough, too quiet, too intense? You walked away so easily, I stayed to make it make sense. I started blaming myself for every crack in our walls, for every night you pulled away, for every time you didn't call. I carried all the weight, like I was the reason you left. You said it just didn't work, so I started blaming myself. I changed the way I talk to you, softened every word, swallowed all my questions, afraid of what I'd heard. I tried to be less needy, tried to never complain, but the more I tried to fix it, the more you slipped away. I thought if I could be better, you'd remember how to stay. I started blaming myself for the distance in your eyes, for the way you stopped reaching, for the way you stopped trying. I told myself it's my fault, the love felt like a test. You said you needed something else, so I started blaming myself. But love shouldn't feel like punishment for simply being real, and I can't keep apologizing for the way I feel. Maybe you were already leaving long before you said goodbye. I started blaming myself, but I'm learning that's not fair. I gave you honest love, you just weren't fully there. Maybe it wasn't my failure, maybe it was just the end. I won't keep breaking my own heart to explain where you've been. I was calling it forever, you were calling it we'll see. I was building us a future, you were keeping room to leave. I gave you all my quiet nights, every fear I never showed. You gave me half your honesty and half the love I hoped. I kept leaning in closer while you kept one foot out the door. We were mutual enough, I loved you more than you could give. I was ready to grow roots, you were ready just to visit. I gave you all my trust, you gave me almost love. We weren't broken, just unbalanced. We were mutual enough. I memorized your favorite songs, you forgot the things I'd say. I learned your every silence, you learned how to look away. I fought for every argument. You'd rather let them die. I said let's fix what's hurting. You said we'll be fine. But fine was just another word for slowly drifting off. We were mutual enough. I loved you more than you could give. I was ready to choose you. You were testing what else exists. I gave you all my heart. You gave me what was left. We weren't cruel, just uneven. We weren't mutual enough. Love shouldn't feel like proving why you deserve to stay. Love shouldn't feel like begging for effort every day. I was all in from the start. You were halfway in at best, and I kept calling it patience while settling for less. We were mutual enough. That's the truth I finally see. You love me in your own way, but not the way I need. I can't keep shrinking down to fit inside your love. We weren't meant to last. We weren't mutual enough. We held each other like it was forever, but I could feel the cracks beneath our skin. We whispered promises in the dark, but we both knew how fragile love could begin. Every laugh felt like it might shatter. Every kiss like it could break in two. I tried to glue the pieces together, but some things fall no matter what you do. To believe in us, but doubt was always near. I loved you with my whole heart, even when the ending felt clear. We were fragile from start, built on hope and soft-spoken fears, held together by whispers and tears. We tried to mend the parts, but some love just can't endure. We were fragile from start, and it all came undone too soon. I counted every moment we had, every smile, every fleeting touch. But I couldn't hold you steady when your heart didn't need me that much. You'd pull away in silence, and I'd chase what I couldn't keep. We were dancing on broken glass and falling. Was it inevitable? much before fragile love moves on. We were fragile from start, tried to hold what could and remain. Loved too deeply, but in vain. We were fragile from start, and it broke without a sound. Two hearts that couldn't stay, though they tried to stick around. I loved you like it was forever. Every word, every touch, every glance. I gave my heart without hesitation. Believed in us, believed in chance. You smiled like it was easy, like it didn't mean a thing. While I built a world around you, you were flying with clipped wings. I stayed up counting every moment. You treated us like it was play. I thought love meant commitment, but you just drifted away. I took it seriously while you treated it like a game. I gave my all, my everything. You barely felt the same. I wanted forever, I wanted proof, but you never stayed enough. I took it seriously while you gave casual love. I memorized every word you said, every laugh, every small touch. I tried to see the best in you, even when your love wasn't much. I held on when things got quiet, kept believing we'd survive. But some hearts can't meet halfway, no matter how hard you try. I gave my heart with no limits. You gave what you could spare. I thought love was mutual, but yours was barely there. I took it seriously while you treated it like a game. I gave my all, my everything. You barely felt the same. I wanted forever, I wanted proof, but you never stayed enough. I to hold my shaking hands and tell me I was safe. You calm the storms inside my head with just one look my way. But lately when I start to fall, you just let the silence be. You say I'm overthinking, but you stop reassuring me. I don't need perfect promises, just something I can trust. But every time I ask for more, you say I ask too much. You stop reassuring me, stop telling me I'm yours, stop closing every open door like you did before. Now I'm alone inside this love, second guessing everything. You say nothing's changed at all, but you stop reassuring me. You used to answer late at night just to hear me breathe. Now my calls just ring and ring while you're somewhere I can't reach. You say love shouldn't need proof, it should just naturally be. But love feels small and insecure when you stop choosing me. I'm not asking for the world, just honesty and time. But every fear I try to share, you turn into a crime. You stop reassuring me, stop saying we'll be fine, stop fighting for my comfort when doubt crossed my mind. Now I'm carrying the weight of questions in between. You say I'm just too sensitive, but you stop reassuring me. Maybe I just missed the version of you who cared enough to try, who didn't make me feel ashamed for needing you sometimes. I was never insecure until you grew distant from me. You stop reassuring me, and something slowly died. Not love all at once, just peace inside. If loving you means feeling small and scared of what might be, then maybe what really changed was you stop reassuring me. You'd smile at me in the mornings, then disappear by noon. Send messages that felt warm, but vanished just as soon. I held on to the maybe, the we'll see and the kind of, while I was craving answers, not just fleeting signs of love. I wasn't asking for perfection, just something that was true. But you gave me signals and echoes instead of what I needed from you. I wanted clarity, not vibes. A love I could believe inside. No words that flow like smoke, or promises you never tried. I gave my heart, expecting light. You gave me sparks in the night. I wanted clarity, not vibes. But all I got were could have been some lies. I memorize the little moments, the times you almost stayed. I read into the silences, hoping they weren't just shade. I tried to make sense of feelings that weren't meant to be defined. And in every maybe tomorrow, I lost pieces of my mind. I wanted something steady, something I could trust. But love that only lingers turns into smoke and dust. I wanted clarity, not vibes. A love I could believe inside. No words that flow like smoke, or promises you never tried. I gave my heart, expecting light. You gave me sparks in the night. I wanted clarity, not vibes. But all I got were could have been some lies. Maybe one day I'll find someone who loves in ways that show, who doesn't hide behind the moods or let their heart come and go. I'll give my trust where it matters, where love isn't just implied. Not chasing shadows and echoes, but something real inside. I wanted clarity, not vibes. A love I could count on and hold, not fleeting whispers in the dark, or warmth that quickly grows cold. I wanted something certain, no sparks that fade or subside. I wanted clarity, not vibes. But you left me chasing empty nights. Every time I said, can we talk? You said not tonight. You kissed my forehead gently, like that made it right. You changed the subject smoothly, turned tears into a joke. I was reaching for the truth, you were dodging what was broke. I wasn't trying to fight you, I just wanted something real. But you treated every question like a wound you wouldn't heal. You avoided real talks, like honesty would hurt, like saying what you felt would only make it worse. So we let silence answer what we were scared the tension in your jaw, the way your eyes would wander when I mentioned what I saw. You said I think too deeply, that love should just be light, but love can't grow in shadows if we never turn on lights. I kept opening the door, you kept closing it halfway. You avoided real talks, left everything unclear, called it keeping peace while I was drowning in fear. I begged for understanding, you begged to disagree. You avoided real talks, and that became our story. It's not the fights that break you, it's the words you never say. It's the truth you keep on hiding until love fades away. I would have faced the hard parts if you just stayed with me. But you avoided real talks, so we never stood a chance. We built a love on silence and called it romance. I needed something honest, you needed to be free. You avoided real talks, and that's what ended me. We walked together side by side, but never spoke of what was mine. Every smile felt temporary, every touch a thin disguise. I memorized your maybe laughs, your quiet words I read between. I tried to build a world with you, but it was never clearly seen. I wanted labels, wanted truth. You wanted freedom, wanted air. I kept hoping we'd find the line, but there was nothing there. We were too undefined, a love with no shape, no name. I gave my heart entirely, you were only half the same. We were too undefined, and now I see it clear. Some love just drifts like shadows and disappears with fear. I stayed through vague promises, through maybe and we'll see, hoping someday you'd choose me, hoping someday we'd be free. But every step I took closer, you'd step back just as fast, and I realized slowly we were built to never last. I wanted certainty, wanted more. You were satisfied with less. I gave all that I had, while you never settled the stress. never known. I saw it in the way you looked away, like your mind was somewhere else. I felt the space between your words growing like a quiet spell. Your touch was softer, distant, like it didn't belong to me. And I kept hoping you'd come back, but I could feel you leave. I asked if something was wrong. You said I'm fine, like a lie. But the weight of your silence was the truth I couldn't deny. I felt you check out before the words were said. Before you even left, you were already gone in your head. I held on to moments, but they slipped through your hands. I felt you check out, and I couldn't understand. We laughed like everything was fine, but I could hear it in your laugh, the echo of a heart that's fading, the part of you I'd never have. I reached for connection, but you weren't reaching back. I loved you fully while you were already on a different track. I tried to talk, I tried to stay, but the distance kept growing wide. And I realized slowly you had already said goodbye. I felt you check out before the words were said. Before you even left, you were already gone in your head. I held on to moments, but they slipped through your hands. I felt you check out, and I couldn't understand. Maybe I'll learn someday to see the signs before it hurts, to feel the love before it fades, before it deserts. I won't chase someone's shadow or cling to what's not true. I'll give my heart where it stays, not where it drifts from view. I felt you check out, and it broke me in two. I lost someone fully who didn't stay true. I remember the feeling, but I won't chase the lost. I felt you check out, and I'll never forget the cost. I felt it in the quiet nights when your eyes looked right through me. Your hand still held mine, but that your heart had gone free. I asked if everything was okay. You said I'm fine like a lie, but I could see the distance growing in your eyes. I tried to reach you, tried to hold on, but you were already gone. Not in body, not in place, but in every piece of your love. You left emotionally first, before the words could ever come. You gave your heart in fragments, and I was left with none. I held on to your shadow while you disappeared from view. You left emotionally first, and I didn't know what to do. I memorized your empty smiles, the half-hearted laughs you gave. I stayed through all the quiet, hoping your heart would stay brave. I begged for signs, for answers. You gave me silence instead. I was loving a ghost of you while you were already ahead. I kept believing you'd return, but the truth was already clear. Your love had faded quietly long before the final tear. You left emotionally first, before the words could ever come. You gave your heart in fragments, and I was left with none. I held on through your shadow while you disappeared from view. You left emotionally first, and I didn't know what to do. Maybe one day I'll find a love that doesn't leave in parts, that doesn't fade behind the smiles or hide behind the hearts. I'll give my all to someone who stays when it's hard to be, not someone who leaves me broken before they even leave me physically. You left emotionally first, and I was left alone with pieces of a love that was never really grown. I learned to hold my heart for someone who will stay true. You left emotionally first, but I find a love that pulls me through. I felt it in the way you spoke, the quiet that you left between every word that should have been love. Felt hollow where it should have been seen. I watched your eyes start to wander when you thought I wasn't near, and something in me knew too soon that goodbye had already appeared. I kept hoping it was just a phase, but your distance said it all. I was holding on to us while you were letting us fall. I heard goodbye early, before the words had spit your lips. I felt the leaving in your touch, in the moments you didn't give. I love you for not to words but to the signs, not to hope that lingers too long, or love that slowly dies. I'll give my heart where it stays, where goodbye doesn't come first, not to someone whose leaving was written the verse. I find out by be strong. We never shouted from rooftops, never carved our names in stone, kept our feelings in between lines, like secrets never shown. You'd say I care in quiet tones, like it was safer that way, and I pretend it was enough when I needed you to stay. We wrote our story softly, afraid of what it meant, afraid that if we said too much it might not last again. We loved in lowercase, never bold, never bright, never brave enough to fight. Look at us now. No anniversaries posted, no promises out loud, just late night conversations and hope we never doubted. You never called me forever, just maybe, and we'll see. And I kept translating silence into what I hoped you'd need. We were careful with our feelings, like they'd break if we were sure. We loved in lowercase, soft edges, hidden hands, always almost something, but never taking a stand. You kept 1 foot in distance, I kept moving somehow. We loved in lowercase, and I see it clearer now. Love shouldn't hide in whispers or live behind closed doors. It shouldn't feel uncertain, like it's less than it was before. I wanted capital letters, something steady, something true. But we loved in lowercase, small words, fragile lines, too scared to call it real, too scared to draw the lines. I gave you all my heart, you gave what you allowed. We laughed like it was forever, but I felt the space between every maybe and someday, every word left unseen. I gave my heart completely, but you held yours on a leash. Every touch felt temporary, every moment just a piece. I was hoping for something real, but you never stayed long enough. I kept trying to make it ours while you kept it light and rough. You kept things casual, like love was just a game. I gave my all, my everything. You barely felt the same. I wanted forever, wanted true, but you only gave the spark. You kept things casual. Left me in the dark. I memorized the little things, the ways you almost cared, the jokes, the late night calls, the moments that were barely there. I tried to turn maybe into always, tried to build a world with you, but love that's always half in shadows can't ever feel like it's true. I wanted a heart that stayed, you only showed up for fun. I loved beyond the surface while you were already done. You kept things casual, like love was just a game. I gave my all, my everything. You barely felt the same. I wanted forever, only truth, but you only gave the spark. You kept things casual and left me in the dark. Maybe someday I'll find a love that doesn't hide behind a mask, where hearts are fully present, not just what someone asks. I'll give my all to someone who wants the same from me, not someone who's fleeting or too afraid to be free. You kept things casual, and now I'm like it was real. I poured my heart completely while you barely tried to feel. I wanted more, I wanted depth, but you gave what you could give. You kept things casual, and I learned to live it and forgive. You'd say maybe when I needed yes, a pause instead of clarity. Held my heart with gentle hands, but left it in uncertainty. I memorized your almost smiles, the words you never gave. I built my world around your maybes, while love slipped through the cracks you made. I kept hoping your heart would speak, but your silence grew too loud. I was standing in the maybe, while you drifted in the clouds. You said maybe too much, and I believed every pause. I held on to spaces between the words you'd give. Tried to find what you were feeling in the things you wouldn't live. Every promise felt conditional, every touch felt unsure. I loved with all my open heart, but your maybe made it hurt. I kept reaching for a yes, but got a maybe every time. And the weight of hesitation became a love that couldn't shine. You said maybe too much, and I believed every part. I held on to the in-between, ignoring all the flaws. I wanted steady, I wanted true, but your maybe never stayed. You said maybe too much, and love just slipped away. Maybe one day I'll learn to see that love needs more than words, needs certainty, needs courage, not half-form promises unheard. I'll give my heart to someone who won't leave it in the gray. Not caught in a maybe, but someone who'll stay. You said maybe too much, and I held on too long. I gave my all to a love that never felt that strong. I wanted clarity, I wanted proof, not doubts in every touch. You said maybe too much, and I can't believe it much. You held me like I was forever, like I was all you'd ever need. You said my name like it was sacred, like your heart was finally free. The seasons change without a warning, and so did you so easily. I was building something steady, you were just passing through me. I didn't know I was a moment, while you were just my everything. You loved me temporarily, like a stop along the way. I gave you all my heart, you were just here to stay. For a little while, not forever, just enough to leave a scar. You loved me temporarily, but I loved you who you are. I memorized your favorite songs, the way your fingers fit in mine. I thought we were writing chapters, you were only killing time. I stayed through every doubt you had, through every storm you couldn't face. But when the skies were finally clear, you left without a trace. I was planning all our tomorrows, you were counting down your goodbyes. You loved me temporarily, like a warmth that couldn't last. I gave you all my future, you were living in the past. For a little while, not forever, Maybe one day I'll understand how love can feel so real and still be something borrowed, something that doesn't heal. You love me temporarily, but I will love completely. I won't shrink my heart again or give it out so freely. You love me temporarily, but someday I will see a love that chooses always and doesn't leave eventually. You used to fit inside my arms, like that was where you belonged. Now you stand a little farther, even when we're alone. You talk about a different future, like I'm not in the frame. And I keep learning how to smile while everything has changed. I felt it in the way you listen less, in the way you stop saying my name. You outgrew my love, like it was something small, like it was just a season, not forever at all. I was still holding on to every promise we made. You outgrew my love, and I didn't know how to walk away. I stayed the same for you, thought that's what loyalty meant, but you kept chasing new skies while I was paying no rent. You stopped reaching for my hand, stopped looking for my eyes, and I kept building us a home while you were packing goodbye. I tried to be enough for who you came, but I was only loved by who you were. You outgrew my love, like it was something small, like it was just a season, not forever at all. I was still holding on to every promise we made. You outgrew my love, and I didn't know how to walk away. Maybe I was just your safe place before you learned how to fly. Maybe I was just a chapter you needed to get by, but I would have stayed forever. I would have stayed through it all. I never thought I'd be the one you'd outgrow. You outgrew my love, like it was easy to do, like everything we built meant less to you. I was still standing there where you left me that day. You outgrew my love, and I'm still learning how to be okay. You used to hold my shaking hands and tell me I was safe. You calmed the storms inside my head with just one look my way. But lately when I start to fall, you just let the silence speak. You say I'm overthinking, but you stopped reassuring me. I don't need perfect promises, just something I can trust. But every time I ask for more, it sucks too much. You stop reassuring me, stop telling me I'm yours, stop closing every open doubt like you did before. Now I'm alone inside this love, second guessing everything. You say nothing's changed at all, but you stopped reassuring me. You used to answer late at night just to hear me breathe. Now my calls just ring and ring while you're somewhere I can't reach. You say love shouldn't need proof, it should just naturally be. But love feels small but never secure when you stop choosing me. I'm not asking for the world, just honesty and time. But every fear I try to share, you turn into a crime. Oh, stop reassuring me, stop saying we'll be fine, stop fighting for my comfort when doubt crossed my mind. Now I'm carrying the weight of questions in between. You say I'm just too sensitive, but you stopped reassuring me. Maybe I just missed the version of you who cared enough to try, who didn't make me feel ashamed for needing you sometimes. I was never insecure until you grew distant from me. You stopped reassuring me, and something slowly died. Not love all at once, just peace inside. And loving you means feeling small and scared of what might be. Then maybe what really changed was you stopped reassuring me. You only called when the sky went dark, when the world was fast asleep, when loneliness got loud enough and silence cut too deep. Your voice would find me in my room like smoke beneath the door, soft and slow and temporary, like you'd been there before. In daylight you were distant, like I was hard to see. But midnight made you honest, or at least closer to me. You felt like late night thoughts, heavy on my mind, only real in the quiet, gone by morning light. You held me in the shadows when no one else could see. You felt like late night thoughts. but never daylight to me. You felt things you'd never say, with the sun above your head, whispered full of almost love and half meant things you said. I memorized the way you changed when the clock turned 2, how I was everything you needed until the sky turned blue. I was your comfort in the dark, but not your choice at noon. You felt like late night thoughts, close but never mine, wrapped around my heart, but only after one. You swore that it was different, that this time it was true, but you faded with the sunrise, like late night thoughts always do. Love shouldn't disappear with the light of day. It shouldn't need the quiet to find the words to say. I wanted something certain, something I could keep. But you felt like late night thoughts, lingering unsure, warm in the moment, but never secure. I was wide awake in love, you were passing through. You felt light weight like cash, and I was just your truth. I memorized the way you leave, like it was just another phase. You said you needed time to breathe, while I was drowning in the wave. You disappear for days and days, then come back like nothing broke. And I would smile, erase the pain, and treat your silence like a joke. I told my friends you were just tired, said love was messy, love was hard, but deep inside I felt the fire of every unanswered call. I made excuses for you, like your hurting was worse than mine. I kept rewriting the truth, so I wouldn't have to read the signs. I painted red flags blue, told myself we were fine. I made excuses for you, while you were slowly leaving me behind. I blame the world, I blame the stress, I blame the ghosts inside your past. I told myself you loved me best, just couldn't show it in the right ways yet. You held my hand when it was easy, let it go when things got real. And I kept saying you still need me, while teaching my heart not to feel. I learned to shrink to fit your moods, to speak in words that wouldn't fight. I lost the version of me that used to know what love felt like. I made excuses for you, like your hurting was worse than mine. I kept rewriting the truth, so I wouldn't have to read the signs. If you cared, you wouldn't hide it. If it was real, it wouldn't feel like this. I was loyal to your potential while you were careless with my heart. I stayed faithful to forever while you treated us like a part. I made excuses for you till I forgot what I deserved. I let you maybe feel like truth, hung on every empty word. Now I'm learning how to choose a love that doesn't make me blind. I made excuses for you, but I won't make them next time. We tried to build a home on ground that shook beneath our feet, held hands through storms and silence, but we could never find our beat. You pulled away when I reached in, I pushed too hard when you stayed. Love felt like walking on glass, fragile, unsure and afraid. I wanted us to last forever, but we kept falling apart. I gave my all to something broken, and you kept hiding your heart. We weren't stable, love. We burned too fast, we crashed too hard. Held together by hope, but it couldn't mend the scars. I wanted something steady, but we were drifting like the tide. We weren't stable, love, and I can't pretend we survived. I memorized your empty smiles, your half-hearted I love yous. Try to fill the cracks in our hearts with dreams that wouldn't come true. Every argument left a mark, every silence cut too deep. We stayed together for comfort, not the kind of love we'd keep. I held on for the maybe, while you held back for the next. We were always almost something, but never fully checked. We weren't stable, love. We burned too fast, we crashed too hard. Held together by hope, but it couldn't mend the scars. I wanted something steady, but we were drifting like the tide. We weren't stable, love, and I can't pretend we survived. Maybe I'll find a love that's solid, a heart that won't shake or sway, a love that doesn't tremble or quietly slip away. I'll give my heart to someone who stands through every storm, not to someone fragile who couldn't keep me warm. We weren't stable,